You can build your own language learning routine around exactly how you learn and who you are and what your goals are within your languages, within the other areas of your life that also consume your time and your energy, your living, your work, your family, your friends, your language, essentially a steady work-life balance. And you can do this in a way that will make you a fluent speaker, that will bring you to whatever your goals are, whatever they are. Being able to converse in the language, being able to fully read, write, speak, listen, get a degree in a language, get anything, whatever your goals are. You can build your own routine that does exactly this by starting very, 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 very small, like as small as it can get here. And the cool thing about this actually is that when you do it this way, when you start small and you build yourself up, it's more sustainable, and in the long run, you get closer to your goals over the course of, say, a year or 2 years. You may try different strategies, over that time, like this week I'm going to do this month I'm going to do this, and that's cool, that's definitely part of the process, but ultimately, what's going to make you an awesome speaker of a language is being able to find ways that you can commit to add on to as part of your lifestyle, as building habits for language learning, being a person who speaks that language. And once you get to a certain level of fluency, you don't necessarily have to do these all the time. Be aware that when you do drop off and you take, like with my Spanish for example, I have not been practicing, but I do use it. Like I haven't been studying, it's a better word, but I use it. I have people who I speak to Spanish with just doing at my home, like around, like I use it. So although I'm not actively like studying, reading, writing papers, getting new vocabulary, like study memorizing vocabulary, I'm still using it and I'm still learning as words come up, as different things come up. My writing abilities are probably a little out of practice, but once you build those habits of learning and you get to that point of like a fluency where you're like, yeah, I feel good, like I feel like I'm fluent, I feel like, I can do what I set out to do. Now you can, so what you can do here is you can not necessarily stop, because if you do stop, you go from here to right, crash and burn. And for example, my grandfather, his first language was Spanish, and he spent most of his time speaking English, like as long as I was alive, and I knew him up until I was like 13. I only ever heard him speak English. I didn't even know he spoke Spanish until he was gone, because I just didn't. And his Spanish, I guess, was not so great at that time because he didn't use it anymore. So the idea here is we're going to build study habits, we're going to build language learner habits for acquiring that language. And then once you get to a point where you feel good about that language, you can put it in maintenance mode. And what maintenance mode is to you is unique to you. That's why this is like a DIY language learning, because this isn't like, oh, do these things, here you go. That's something you can start with, and there's plenty of that out there on the internet, so go find that out there. But what you're going to get here is what to do once you've tried all these things. Once you've tried things and you're like, okay, I tried this, or you don't know where to start trying things, and you're like, okay, I want to build a language learning habit. I want to really achieve my goals, and I want this to be part of my identity, because that's what learning another language really means. It means that you are becoming a speaker of that language. That is changing your identity as a person. You're no longer monolingual, you're bilingual, you're no longer bilingual, you're trilingual, whatever it is. You no longer live in a world, for me, like only English speaking. Now you've opened up a second world, a second identity of Spanish, learning Spanish speaking world. And it's really like that because, you know, we could get into all of that, like when you learn another language, you learn another culture, you learn a different way of life. What's that quote? Those who know nothing of a foreign language know nothing of their own, something like that. And it's true. So it is like it's an identity that you're adding on to yourself. So with that in mind, as you learn another language, it's cool to experiment and try things, like go through those step-by-step processes and see how they feel. But then you're going to get to a point where you're like, okay, I'm serious about this. And I really want to learn this language. I want to be a speaker of this language. I want to be in this identity. And what that boils down to is choosing what you want to do to make habits. So, for example, my way for learning Spanish that I was like, okay, one little thing that I can do that I know is going to move me closer toward my goal. For me, that was taking college classes like one at a time while I was working full time as a teacher. And that was like as much as I could do. Like, okay, I'm doing this one. It's not a lot, but at least I'm doing it and it's moving me closer. I was taking on the identity of this is just what I'm going to do. I'm going to crawl. Sometimes we're like, we're running, and sometimes we're just like, I'm so tired, but I'm going to keep going, damn it. I'm going to do this. I'm going to like dig my elbows and I'm going to like crawl, pull myself across the floor. Like, I'm going to keep going no matter what it fucking takes. And that's what it takes. And in building those habits, and then sometimes we're just like, fuck it all, you know, I just want to crawl into a hole, not study languages for a while. And I've been there too. But being aware that can happen, that does not define you. That's not your identity. You get to choose what defines you, what your identity is. And you get to choose how you respond to when I want to say, I'm done. And you get to choose. Am I going to do my, am I going to crawl? Am I going to like army crawl with my way through? Or am I going to maybe take a little break, knowing that, okay, I need to recover. And the goal being to not get to that point of exhaustion where you're like, I'm done. But sometimes, you know, life happens and we can just get to that point where we just can't study, we can't focus at the moment, and that's okay. What does define you is how you move forward and how you respond to that situation. So we build these habits, let's say taking a class or meeting each week with a tutor or committing to having a language journal that you work in every day. Maybe you give yourself the leeway of, you know, having a couple days off or whatever each week, or just committing it. Like, it's really more important to have the intention than it is to have a set goal of like, I am doing this. I am doing a language journal. And then you do have to actually do it, of course, but it's not so important if you do it every single day. What's important is that it's on your mind, and you might say one day you're just like that, like, I'm done day, and you're just like, no, not today. You know, I had whatever, I had my car broke down, I had a family emergency, I had this, I had everything all in one day. No, just not today. That's cool. Like, it's not cool that happened, but that's perfectly normal to feel like I'm not doing it today. But we hold that intention, we hold that like, I am this person, and we put that out into the universe, all that woo-woo-ness, you know? And then we bring that back in, and we say, okay, I had a bad day. But this intention is still here, I'm moving forward no matter what, I'm doing it. And that's the mindset that makes us a language learner, and that we end up building our routines from, is that we get in, and that commitment to, I'm finding a way to learn Spanish, or to learn French, or learn Arabic, or whatever language, and saying, okay, I'm going to do language journaling. And you try that for a while, and you're like, yeah, this feels every day. I got my journal. I completed these 365 days of language journaling that I bought from SarahVigil.com, and I did them all, and it was awesome, and loved it, and look at this. And then you're like, I don't want to journal anymore. I don't want to journal anymore. Fuck, now who am I? You're still a language learner. You're still a person learning language, because now you're stepping into another level. And you did an entire year, like, that's something to be proud of. But the important thing here to know too is that these habits, they're not like, I'm gonna get up every day, I'm gonna do this at this time every single day until I die. Like, who wants to live like that? And these habits are, I'm gonna do this for this period of time, maybe even just this month. I'm gonna do August, September. I'm gonna do September language journaling because I bought these cool language journaling prompts for September, and I'm gonna do them. I'm gonna commit to it, and then I'm gonna see how I feel. Cool. I finished those. Now I'm in October. I don't feel like doing language journaling, but I'm committed to learning French. What am I gonna do now? I know I'm gonna do something. I know I'm gonna do something. You can see my leg shaking right now, but it's shaking. I'm like, I know I'm gonna do something. I'm gonna do something. What am I gonna do? How can I ensure that I'm gonna make some kind of progress, even if it's tiny? I'm gonna pick up one of these graphic novels off my shelf that are inside upstairs in my house, and I'm gonna read that. Okay, cool. I did that this week. It was small, but I did it, and I'm moving forward. I don't feel like reading anymore. Now what am I gonna do? I'm feeling like I'm just gonna try a bunch of things. And so I'm gonna go online. I'm gonna look up like ways to learn French. And I'm gonna find maybe what's out there. I'm gonna find journaling. I'm gonna find reading. I'm gonna find a conversation partner. I'm gonna try that. Okay. I don't feel like talking to people right now. I'm gonna try something else. I'm gonna try Duolingo. Oh, I already did all of that. I don't want to do that again. I already finished it. I'm gonna try. What else can I try? I did my reading. I did some writing. I really don't want to meet with someone right now, but I'm gonna move forward. Oh, you know what? It's going to be fall. I really feel like cooking. And since I live in the US, like pretty much everything, instruction manuals, everything, they're in English, Spanish, French. Guess what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna read my instructions in French. I'm gonna practice. Oh, I also like sewing. My sewing instructions, they come in French too. I'm gonna practice, and I get to do something really cool that I've been meaning to do for a while. See that energy shift? I was like, I want to do this. I'm like, man, I'm really excited now. Like, I'm going to do this. So that's an intention piece too, is that you don't necessarily know what's going to come out. And you might be a person where you're like, okay, no, I really just want to do the same thing every single week, or every day even. And that's cool. That works for you for now. That's cool. Just, keep in mind that if one day you wake up and that doesn't work anymore, or you don't like doing that anymore, you have options. You can continue doing that and add something else. You can change it altogether. You can do anything you want to, really, as long as you hold that intention of, I'm moving forward with my French or Spanish or whatever. And that's how you build those habits. They're learning and that you are moving forward in. Like with karate, up to black belt, I had really focused, okay, I'm doing this, I'm doing this, I'm doing this. And then getting to black belt really made me realize that I'm in an interminable just sea of knowledge. And I get to choose now how far I want to go and how much time I want to spend. And it's really up to me to create my own process and to be responsible for my own learning, and I've had to be, like you don't, that's the thing about learning martial arts, is that to get to a high level, you have to take responsibility for your own learning, just like learning a language. Like, you're not going to learn a language unless you take responsibility for your own learning, and you find a way to make this happen, like for fluency. Now, if you work with a tutor like one-to-one all the time, sure, you can do that too. And that's essentially, like, I did that for a long time because I needed the extra support, and that was what it took to keep me going, because I just needed it. And that's what I needed at the time. And now I'm like, no, I just don't want to work with a tutor right now. I just don't. I did it so long, I just don't want to do it right now. And I want to spend my time doing other things. But the intention's still there. I'm making this video today about language learning because the intention has still been here, that I'm going to do language learning. And that's what's important, is that intention there, and then of course coming around to follow up with it. But like with learning Spanish, like I had to get to a point where I was like, okay, I'm at this point now, the same as my karate. It's like, it's infinitely more. How much more do I want? How much time do I want to commit to this? How much time do I want to spend doing other things? And that's also like the struggle with multiple languages, is that you choose. Do I want to spend my time going really in depth into one? Because there's so much. Like, you could spend your entire life studying Spanish, for example, and never learn everything. It's infinite. There's always going to be more that we don't know than there is that we do know. And when we realize that, I feel like in some ways it's a weight off my shoulders to realize that, like, okay, I'm good, like, I'm enough as I am. But also, it's like, I'm never gonna be done? Never? I'm always gonna be struggling? So there's two sides to that. But what it really does is like free me up to decide, how do I want to spend my time? And that's that key to building the language learning habits to your own routine, is how do I want to spend my time? So if you've taken nothing else away from this video, take this away. How do I want to spend my time? And this is crucial, because if you're learning a language, you're not just going to learn it and then like, poof, it's gone. No, it's becoming part of you. How do I want to spend my time? Do I want to spend my time? If you're learning for work, if you're learning because you have to, that's a little bit of a different situation. That's like, okay, I'm doing this, I'm going to learn it, I'm going to get to this point, I'm going to be able to do my job. And you're to some extent like done, some maintenance. But if you're doing this because you want to learn languages, maybe you have to too, but maybe you just, you want to, you're a person who want to, which most of you guys are people who want to. And think about it. How do I want to spend my time? Do I want to spend my time every day at my desk studying? If that makes you happy, then cool. Do I want to spend my time outdoors in nature? Do I want to spend my time talking to people? Do I want to spend hours and hours and hours and hours with languages? Maybe you do. Maybe you have other interests too, and you're like, well, actually I really don't want to spend all my time with languages, knowing that I'm like on this hamster wheel of, I'm going to get this done, I'm going to learn another language, I need more languages, I got 3 languages, I need 4, I need 5, I need 20, I need this. Like, finding contentness with, I'm spending my time doing this because I enjoy doing it. Doesn't matter how many languages I speak. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. I'm doing it because I enjoy doing it. And then it all just kind of drifts away. Like all those worries, everything else, all that like anxiety about needing to finish, needing to find the right way, needing to do that. It allows you to really step into your process and find your routine and find your style and find your identity. We're going to end with that. So thank you guys so much for following me through to the end of this video, and I'll see you guys back here next time. Bye, guys.